greetings and blessings. Blessings and greetings, so we're alive because we want to stay alive. And Torah Chaim, instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness, Torah Rachamim. This happens to be now the third day of the Hebrew month of Adar, 5,771 years blazing and grazing into the creation. And this corresponds to February 7th, 2011. What I'd like to do now, hopefully in this series on YouTube, and hopefully it will migrate over to, of course with my direction, I'm speaking, to Facebook and MySpace and maybe even to Twitter, to get people to, all people, whether they be the nation of Israel, Jewish people, or the blessed children of Noah, Noahites, which all of us are descendants of Noah and his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, all blessed by the Most High. If you go carefully and with a rational, open mind and heartless source to Genesis 9 verse 1. But that being said, blessed souls, trying to extract matters which are of universal importance from a Torah which unfortunately some people want to say is not so universal, and some people want to say it's being manipulated for the benefit of one people over another people. Well, the truth is this, blessed souls, when you have, say, like a baseball team, and it's a championship baseball team, or let's say yesterday's Super Bowl championship team like the Green Bay Packers, the quarterback would not be expected to play the front line, and the front lineman or the defensive team would not be expected to play quarterback, and certainly they would not have wanted their quarterback to have played middle linebacker, because they probably then wouldn't have beat their opponents, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that being said, blessed souls, that we of Israel this week, and you can join us, I humbly invite you, of my own accord, to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 27, verse 20, and read from chapter 27, verse 20, until chapter 30, verse 10, in the book of Exodus, Sefer Shmot. And as well, we'll be learning from the Haftarah, in Navi Yecheskel, the prophet Ezekiel, in chapter 43, verses 10 to 27. Hopefully later during the week we can elaborate on these matters as well. But what I want to bring up is those are two little points. First, extracting from a teaching by the Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman Mendel Schneerson, representing King David and Solomon, in a seminal teaching that he gave before actually he himself became sick. In 1992 it was, in Chav Zayin Adar Rishon, the first Adar, because in particulars like this one is a leap year in the Hebrew Jewish calendar, which is really the lunar calendar of creation as opposed to the solar calendar of creation, that he taught the following based on this week's Torah portion, which was TeTzaveh, and you should command. And this was a teaching he gave. He initially said it on this coming Parsha, which will be 30 years ago, this coming Shabbos. As well, this coming Friday, Yom Shishi, will be, in fact, the anniversary of the passing, and ultimately the same day that he was born, who? The mighty Levite prophet Moshe Rabbeinu. So I would just like to ask you so if you could ask one question of Moshe, the mighty Levite prophet who took the 10 commandments, but within those 10 commandments, which were basically 10 axiomatic commandments, 10 universal axiomatic connections, and from within them there also can find the 7 Noahide commandments, which you can learn more about by buying a seminal book by Rabbi Moshe Vina called The Divine Code, which you can also buy for a wonderful website which I'm not connected to, but I certainly recommend you all to check it out. It's called www.asknoah.org. With that being said, blessed souls, the Rebbe said that Moshe, in this week's Torah portion, was commanded to command the children of Israel they should take unto him pure crushed olive oil that should serve as a source of illumination with the lighting of the menorah, the candelabra, in the tent of meeting, otherwise known as the Mishkan. Now, It's very interesting where the Most High had commanded Moshe, TeTzaveh, you should command Bnei Israel, the children of Israel. In many other places we see there are commandments mentioned, which commandments sometimes are referred to as chukim, statutes, mishpatim, ordinances, judgments, edus, testimonies, devorim, matters, that we see the name of the Most High was written, and he spoke to Moshe, tell the children of Israel so and so. But here's his TeTzaveh. What's going on here? Well, one of the things that's not brought specifically here for the reason why it didn't mention Moshe's name, because in this Torah portion, blessed souls, if you check from chapter 27, verse 20, and go to chapter 30, verse 10, in the book of Exodus, which is also known as the Sefer, goes to the book of redemption, because the first redemption of the children of Israel from Egypt, Mitzrayim, is that we see later on in this same book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse 32, at the time when the Most High actually considered destroying the nation of Israel after they engaged in that horrible sin of the TeTzaveh, of the golden calf. And Moshe says, you consider for yourselves, blessed souls, if this will be, then wipe me out of your book. And the Most High says, whoever sends to me will be erased from my book. In fact, so of all, from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th book of the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, the Chumash as we call it, that this is the only section from where we see the emergence of Moshe, which is at the beginning of the book of Exodus, until Deuteronomy, Devorim, that his name is not mentioned in one specific Torah portion. So there's an importance to how we use our words when we even call upon ourselves judgment in a manner that we're trying to help others. How much more so when we make the mistake of judging others in a negative way. That being said, blessed souls, the Rebbe went on to say that you should command, this expression that you should command, TeTzaveh, is not just a difference in the language, but also in the content. And the content here is that Moshe is now being given the power to command. He is the commander. Although we do know, at the same time, he is the commander, okay, there is a chief who is even above this commander, of course, because Moshe was mere shliach. He was an emissary of the Most High. So, I hopefully will be able to continue in this vein to elaborate on this teaching by the Rebbe. And what is the significance in this Torah portion of why Moshe Rabbeinu's Moses, the mighty Levite prophet's name, should not be mentioned in this Torah portion as opposed to being mentioned in every other Torah portion in the Torah, in the 5 books of Moses. That being said as well, blessed souls, I want to make a l'chaim, it's a drink of water, fresh water, filtered water from sink here in Kesakon Heights, that hopefully within this coming week, without a vowel, I hope to engage in a radio show for starting in 15 minutes, hopefully building up to an hour, with a young Torah scholar by the name of Yehuda Levi, who lives out in New Jersey, and I'm here in Brooklyn, and we hope to do something, humbly extend our efforts to give a chorus of Torah to a great tzaddik who lived in Baghdad in Iraq, what you call, before it was called Iraq, it was called Babylon, the Ben Ish Chai, a great man of holiness. His name was Rabbi Yosef Chaim Ben Yitzchak, and he had a great effect upon my wife's family, which merited me to, ultimately I believe, to marry my wife, because my wife's great-grandmother and her family were advised by the Ben Ish Chai, literally meaning the son of a living man, to move to Israel from Baghdad, from Babylon, from Babel, over 100 years ago. And they traversed from what was then Baghdad, in Babylon, or Iraq as we know in a modern sense, all the way to the land of Israel, which is not an easy ride, because remember, they weren't taking jet planes, and they weren't taking a boat, they were traveling in a caravan through the fierce, hot, and not so kind deserts in the Middle East. You have to know what you're doing when you're out in the desert to survive the desert. That being said, blessed souls, the Ben Ish Chai wrote a wonderful book called Ateres Teferet, which literally means Ateret Teferet, the crown of beauty, where he has many explanations from the inner dimension of Torah, Pnimiyut to Torah. And I'd like to show you as I make this l'chaim, But first, before we drink this water, I'd like to teach you what the Ben Ish Chai said. When you drink water, wherever you might be, think about how Mayim, water, which comes from a higher place and sends to a lower place here on this earth, involves the secret of kindness, Soda Chesed. And we should attend when we make a blessing on the water, that we should receive lights, auras of Chasadim, awareness of kindness. And this should disperse out in a way, just as we have benefit when water, which we drink, disperses through our body. Not only that, that water has the numerical value mem yud mem of 90, which is 5 times chai chesed yud, for those who understand the Rashi. So when we drink water, we should have the intention drawn down the 5 lights, 5 levels of awareness, 5 times chai of the 5 levels of the soul, which are called Naran Chai, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. And by making this blessing on the water, that we should be blessed, that our financial portion should go up to the level of water, meaning coming from a high place, and that also we can intend that the water has a connection to the divine name of the Most High, which is the Yud, and then the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. So that being said, listeners, I'd like to show you how we of Israel make a blessing on water. We'll say it in Hebrew, we'll take a sip and explain to you what we said with this blessing. So here we go. And it's also valuable, as one is in the process of learning how to make blessings, to look at the prayer book, which there are now, whether they have been without a couple thousand years, whether handwritten or published versions of books, I guess from the Gutenberg press and onward, to look into the book when we make the blessing. So here we'll make the blessing. And we should look at the substance while we're making the blessing as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sha'akol yo bidbaro. Now what I said was, blessed are you, Almighty Creator, who is our God, which is blessed are you, Creator, source of creation, our God, King of the universe, that everything manifests through His speech. Let's think about this. We know that the first thing that the Most High said in the Torah, in Genesis, I think Genesis 1:3, the Most High said, Yehi, or let there be light. So that original light that he mentioned was a light of kindness. It was a light of mercy. For those of you who have been signing off, hoping everyone will have a day of kindness and of mercy. Remember, when you drink water, think about how everything proceeds out of his mouth. Even this glass of water, which is my glass of water, but let it also, your glass of water, be where that you have benefit from it, you can share this knowledge with others, and we should greet the redemption in a peaceful and pleasant manner. Hava Chad, one love, Gorel Echad, one destiny, for all of us, B'dachim, Shalom, Chaim.